We hope you enjoy our psychology project on classical conditioning featuring my dog, Daisy. Here we are using a peach as the unconditioned stimulus. This is our unsuspecting subject. The following clip demonstrates the neutral stimulus, which is a mouth clicking noise. We are showing that Daisy has no prior response to it. Despite repeating the noise many times, she has no response. She doesn't come to the noise, she doesn't expect anything. She seems to be quite unbothered by the sound. We will soon find out what Daisy was barking so aggressively at. Just minutes before this clip was filmed, we had an unexpected encounter with another concept in psychology, the bystander effect, but we'll get back to that in a minute. She's coming now because you said her name. Okay, now we're gonna start the conditioning. Now we begin the classical conditioning. We begin by presenting the unconditioned stimulus, which is the peach, along with the neutral stimulus, which is the mouth clicking noise. We repeated this process several times, making sure to present the unconditioned stimulus with the neutral stimulus at the same time. We called her into my room by her name, and we began round 2.
Okay, that's enough, Daisy.
Just like before, we repeated this process a couple hours after the first time. See if she comes just for the sound, because she doesn't come for the sound usually. Okay, sit. Okay. Following this clip, we finally tested if the classical conditioning had worked or not. Okay, now I'm gonna attempt to see if it works. I'm gonna make a different noise. Okay, now I'm gonna make the clicking noise. Daisy! Her response demonstrates that the clicking noise has now become the conditioned stimulus. And the conditioned response is that she runs to the noise to get fed peaches. Okay, I'm gonna try this out later in 2 days to see if extinction has occurred. I waited a couple of days and I'm testing out extinction now. She's outside in my living room, which is like over there, so I'm gonna go a little further from my door and make the noise. After repeating this noise several times, Alex and I determined that extinction had occurred because she had no response to the sound. I don't hear her coming. Now I'm going to break down the principles of classical conditioning. It is a type of learning, and much like Pavlov's dogs, my dog learned to associate the clicking noise with peaches. She learned that the sound will allow her to eat the peaches. At the start, the peaches were an unconditioned stimulus, and her running to get the peaches was an unconditioned response, meaning there's nothing associated with it. The neutral stimulus was the clicking noise, but after conditioning occurred, the mouth clicking noise was the conditioned stimulus, and Daisy running to get fed was the conditioned response. We observed that stimulus discrimination didn't occur because she didn't demonstrate the conditioned response to the very similar noise I made. Extinction, however, did occur. When presenting the conditioned stimulus 2 days later, there was no conditioned response. We also observed that the spontaneous recovery did not occur because I repeated this process, which was making the clicking noise, and there was no conditioned response. This was actually a very interesting experience because it allowed us to see concepts of psychology that we learned in class applied to the real world. Now I want to circle back to the reason my dog was barking so aggressively in earlier clips. Although this is unrelated to our project, it is definitely something that is related to psychology and played out in real life. If you listen closely, you can hear what sounds like a little kid screaming. That's what Alex and I thought as well. But until we looked out the window to see a baby deer getting attacked by a big brown dog. In a panic, we ran after the dog and found that all the neighbors had come out of their houses to help catch the dog. Alex and I, along with the dog's elderly owner, were able to catch the dog and put it on a leash. Then we realized something strange. All of the neighbors had not done anything to help us. We were the only ones attempting to save these animals. After getting over the initial shock, Alex pointed out that this was a perfect example of the bystander effect in a real-life situation. The bystander effect is the tendency for a bystander to be less likely to provide aid because of the presence of other bystanders. Although the neighbors seemed concerned, they did not take any action because it was much easier to be a bystander despite how much quicker we would have caught the dog with some help. This can also be seen as diffusion of responsibility because the neighbors felt as if they didn't have anything to do because somebody was already handling the situation. We felt this to be almost ironic because while we were conducting an experiment for a psychology concept, there was a real-life example demonstrating a completely different one. We believe this shows just how prevalent and real these concepts are in reality. Thank you for watching.